Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to have an open panel where you get to call in and speak on your gripes or speak on things you want to talk about right from the get go. Before I drop the link, though, I want to introduce the panel and see how they're doing today. And then I'm going to drop the link and you can call in immediately. So, first, how are you today, Robin, Sports and Fitness Rants?
Oh, you know how I'm doing, man. And everybody in the chat knows how I'm doing, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, man, we want you guys to call up, man. All the loudmouth LeBron James fans, anyone that got a problem with sports and fitness rants, all you guys crying in the comment section day after day after day. This is your opportunity, man, to pick up the phone, man, and call up, man, and let us know how you feel, man. Shout out to my man Scaff. Shout out to my man Rex. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to the czar of the video footage, AOH, my man Dart. You guys know the deal. Let's roll.
We've got Politicus Rex, just Politicus Rex again today. That's uncharacteristic of you. You must be feeling terrible still. How are you?
Yeah, pretty much still feeling terrible, but hey, whatever.
And we got Nick, NMB Sports. How are you today, sir?
Doing good as always. Always glad to be here. Short and sweet as always.
All right. Scap Attack Jay, how are you today?
Doing well. I got some nervous energy here. Big fantasy matchup for me on the football side today. So, I figured I'll just get some of the pent up nerves out of the way here. Talk some junk on LeBron, one of my favorite things to do. What's up to the panel and to everybody listening? Looking forward to today's show.
Absolutely. And then we've got AOH with the fuzzy camera. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Obviously, just good morning.
All right. Well, the easiest way to come and join the live stream and call in is if you go to my channel and click the link. I'm dropping it right now, right out the gate. Come in hot. I saw Steam Engine in there saying that he didn't have the link. My man.
He doesn't know, man. You can slap in the face with a link. He still wouldn't be on here on time.
My man, I sent you the link a while ago.
Come on, Speed.
Hey, Dart, this isn't defense of Speem because this has always been his problem, but the link isn't validated. I come in here the last 3 weeks with the link that you sent me, and it says go get a valid link, and I have to go get a new one. So that's part of why I was late today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, another reason why I'm going to end my tenure with Restream, because it's doing these nasty things. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what the issue is. But I've dropped a link if you're a LeBron James fan and or you just want to go and discuss something, you'll have 20 minutes to come up here. It's already hot. So
yeah, anything, tell them anything. I mean, listen, I'm pretty upset right now about the New York Knicks trade. They went out there and got solved Karl Anthony Towns. And I didn't do a video on this because I've been busy with my own personal life here. But my goodness, this is why the New York Knicks are always regressing. They're never going forward. They're always going backwards. It's always 2 steps forward and 1 step back for the New York Knicks, man. You get rid of one guy, Julius Randle, who I couldn't stand, and you get another guy who I can't stand even more, Karl Anthony Towns. Oh, man, where the New Yorkers at?
I'm glad you brought that up. I've been dying to ask you how you feel about that. Let me ask you a question. They're doing this to fill the center position, right? I mean, they got rid of Julius Randle and they lost Hartenstein.
Yeah,
but does anyone think of Cat as a center?
No.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Oh,
what the hell have they done?
And I definitely don't think of him as a big man or a legit big man. Like, they need someone that's going to go down and get rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns ain't rebounding. Are you kidding me? This guy's so inconsistent. This dude is soft as hell on defense. We all know about his post. You guys remember what Jimmy Butler said about Karl Anthony Towns? He was talking about him when he was in Minnesota for that season, talking about this guy's soft, man. Why do you get Karl Anthony Towns? That's a terrible move, man.
No, but he's the most famous player they could get that'll sell the most jerseys this year.
They're going to be booing that man in the first month of the season. He better go there and play defense. He better rebound and play defense, man. He don't got to shoot all these shots up, man. He don't got to stand on the three-point line and chuck up those three-point shots. He got to hustle. He got to earn it in New York.
Pretty sad about DiVincenzo, too. I mean, he had good chemistry. He brought that grit. He was balling out for them. You know,
This is what the
you
Knicks
like
do.
a
That's what I'm
team that
saying.
has people you didn't know, and then they become a great team together. And they just trashed that. I can't stand it. I was actually going to get excited for watching New York this year. I can't stand Karl Anthony Towns, and they tore up the chemistry. I can't be excited for New York now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
can't do it.
Real fast, we just had some a-hole. I don't know if you saw it, but somebody was putting some funny stuff up on here. So when they called in, this is so hopefully nothing happens. But
Tell them to
something,
call up.
I don't know if you saw what I was talking about, but
I didn't. I was looking away, but must have missed it.
yeah, somebody put something funny up on here. So
That's right. See my man Uncut Hoops in the chat, and he said it. He said, Cat is the polar opposite of New York mindset. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. New York, the New York franchise, the Knicks, man, they were always known when I was growing up for being a blue collar team, a hard nosed defensive team, guys that went out there and gave the effort, the Charles Oakleys, the John Starks of the world, even the guys like Gerald Wilkins, you know what I'm saying, the Derek Harpers, you know what I'm saying, Patrick Ewing. These guys went out there and gave the effort. That's what New York was known for. They wasn't out there with the flash and the pizzazz, man. You had to earn it. Someone like a Jalen Brunson, the guys that they were built around, they were supposed to be the Villanova connection. And now you go ahead and get rid of DiVincenzo. Now listen, I saw some people in the chat say something about Karl Anthony Towns is a good player. He's a good player in relation to what? In relation to hell. Did you see Karl Anthony Towns in the All-Star game? Did you see that pathetic performance that he put up out there chucking all these threes? This is what I'm alluding to. You get rid of Julius Randle, who was known as not being a rebounder or a defensive-minded player at that position, and then you bring in a Karl Anthony Towns, who is the same guy, who doesn't play defense, who's not a rebounder, who's not a great athlete. Karl Anthony Towns, the guy can barely jump. But you bring him in why? For what? For scoring? It's insane, man. I don't understand these moves.
They brought in another outside shooter to fill the center position.
It's crazy, man. It don't make no sense.
For once, in an off season as a Mavericks fan, I cannot relate to you this year. I think we had an amazing off season.
Who else did you get besides Thompson?
We got Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Spencer Dinwiddie, which I'm really excited about, and Najee Marshall. And also
Grimes
another
from New York Knicks.
Another addition by subtraction, I think, also is getting off of Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract. He was like our third highest paid player. He was just on a horrible contract. So I think getting rid of him will also prove to be fruitful in the future as well.
So we can go back to saying that Dinwiddie is good because, you know, when he's on LeBron's team, like last year, he's crap.
Well, he had since his injury, he had his best ball with the Mavericks the year before he went to the Lakers. So that's what I'm going off of. Like, I admit he's struggling in LA, but we just need him to be a slasher and score. There's not a lot of responsibility for Dinwiddie here, and I think he thrives in that situation. So he'll get some open threes as well. He's a little streaky in terms of being a shooter, but when he was here, he played amazing ball. So like, I'm all for it.
We've got Mr. Shanny here. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Again.
I just had a comment and then a question. I mean, my comment is, I think that Jordan and Kobe are more like, have the Goku effect, and LeBron is more like a Hercule. And I mean by that, I didn't grow up a Jordan fan, honestly, or Kobe fan. I was a Bad Boy Pistons fan, and later a Chris Webber Kings fan. But over time, they just garnered my respect after their career was done. And I just see LeBron being more like a Hercule type that just, to anybody who knows Dragon Ball Z, is, just shouting for attention and whatnot. But I do have a question that I just want to direct at Scap since Hoop God isn't here. And if he's watching, I just want to preface this with, sorry, Hoop God, but who's more delusional between LeBron fans or Cowboys fans?
Wow, that's a pretty loaded question. I don't even know how to answer that, honestly. You got the Cowboys who have not won anything of note in basically 30. It's been 30 years. The 95 Super Bowl, 1995. That's literally 30 years ago since the Dallas Cowboys have won anything of note. I think maybe, what is it, 2 or 3 total playoff wins in that span of time? Just sheer ass. But then you've got LeBron and his delusional fan base. I mean, this is just neck and neck. It is a dead heat. I don't really know how to call it. You've got the LeBron James fan base here thinking this guy's the greatest player of all time. Again, I don't even have him in my top 5 all time. So
Me either.
I honestly don't know how to call that as pathetic as LeBron's overall cases, in my estimation, in terms of when you really drill into how this guy won his 4 championships. I still have to think he's been better by and large than the Dallas Cowboys have over the last 30 years. So I would probably have to give the very slightest of edges to the Dallas Cowboys fan base as the most delusional between the two.
I guess, like, all right, from a Dallas fan's perspective, like, what are Cowboys fans supposed to do? Be like, oh, you're right, our team sucks. By that standard, like, then there's not really a whole lot of difference between, you know, us and anyone else. Like,
no. Here's the thing, though.
There are fans who say we're absolutely going to win it.
Nick. Sorry
and if you
about
asked
that, Nick.
them if they were like the odds-on favorite, they would probably say no at the same time, right? So
No,
I feel at this point, like, saying Cowboys fans are delusional, it's almost more of a gimmick at this point than just, I don't know, people just love to rag on the Cowboys and it's just become a thing. You know, it's like, I don't think we're any different than any other fan base.
You're not living in reality, though. That's what we're saying. Because if you guys always think every season that you're Super Bowl contenders, you're not living in reality.
But
because
a lot of fans are like
you guys
that.
haven't been relevant in a long time. And that's what I think people are alluding to. It's the fact, just like LeBron James fans, they won't live in the same reality that LeBron James refuses to live in. This is why he'll have his wife come on stage and call him the GOAT. He don't want to live in the real world.
But every fan base is like that.
No,
if they have a decent
every
team,
fan
it's
base
like we're
thinks
going to
they're
win it this
Super
year,
Bowl
right?
or bust.
No, Lions fan. I'm not a Lions fan, but even the Lions fans I do know, they already know they're not going anywhere.
The Giants have been more relevant
didn't even
over
get
the last
disappointed
20
last
years
year.
than the Cowboys
bro.
have. And I do not think the Giants are Super Bowl contenders or anything of that nature. If Dak Prescott is your starting quarterback, you're not Super Bowl contenders.
Okay, but then that
Pretty
goes for
much.
everybody who thinks like their team's going to win, their quarterbacks never won a
You
Super
root
Bowl,
for
or
your
hasn't
team,
even
Nick.
gone
You
that
don't
far.
actually go out there and think they're the Super Bowl contenders, though.
Can I
You
just
root for
I
your
don't
interject
team.
think we are. I'm a Cowboys
someone
fan.
from
I don't think
Pittsburgh?
we're actual Super Bowl contenders.
But your fan
think we're
base
tier
does.
2 at
Your
best.
fan base does as a whole. You guys are delusional.
I don't think we're any different than anyone else who has like a good to decent team who just is overexcited.
They're called
Would also tell
America's
you that they're
team.
not like the
How
odds-on
are they
favorite.
America's team? It's a delusion. Just like Jerry Jones, he's delusional.
So
The
like
man
now
fired
it's
his
our
head
fault that
coach
we have a
after
nickname from back in the
back-to-back
day. You
Super
know,
Bowls.
like
Tag
that's not our fault.
Name
coming from a
me
different
another
place.
coach that fires his coach after back-to-back Super Bowls.
Because
Jerry
we have a
Jones
coach
did
who
that.
fires owner who fires coaches doesn't make us delusional though. Like that doesn't make us any different.
The
That's
whole
out of
fan
our
base is
control.
delusional.
They'll tire themselves out.
You're being delusional right now, Nick. You're in denial.
I just said I don't think we're favorites. I don't think we're contenders.
Countdown has started.
This is why we have the clock.
You see it?
We got too many creators here that go and just monologue the entire time. But
I
anyway,
just think it's a little overplayed at this point. The whole like Cowboys are delusional thing.
They used to be. I think that generation of delusional Dallas Cowboys fans has gotten older and has cycled out.
Yeah, I'm sure like maybe even 10, 15 years ago, I would agree with you, but I
You
feel
guys
like
are
it's just
talking
sort of
crazy.
I just think it's overplayed at this point. It's like it's just it's a inside joke. But it's
What did
not.
the Cowboys ever do to
He
deserve
just
that
said you guys
nickname
have
anyway?
2 playoff wins in like 30 years.
I know how
I
they
know
got
that.
that nickname.
I'm aware of that stat. So are Cowboys fans.
I'm screaming racism in a minute. Oh, yes, that works. Listen, no, that works. I knew it would work. Speaking as a young 10-year-old man, 1995, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, East Hills, 5th grade Super Bowl Steelers Day. I had my heart broken by the Dallas Cowboys and Mr. Neil O'Donnell. So I think we should just move on. I feel like it's the best way to do that.
That's all you had to say.
That's it, man. F the Cowboys. That's what I had to say. I had to get it out there.
Glad we
introduce
waited for that.
myself, Let everyone give my shout outs, personal shout outs to each person. Shout out to
None of
Rex,
these
thank you.
Cowboys
Shout
fans
out
have
to
even been alive before the
Sports and
Cowboys won a
Fitness
Super Bowl.
Fitness.
Well, do any of you
Nick,
actually
thanks
know
for
how they
the
got
time.
that nickname, America's team?
I'm
Because
waiting
of
for
the
Don't care,
roof
Rex.
and the dome.
They suck.
No, it's because back before cable TV, before all that, when the main thing was radio, each team automatically was given their home radio station for the town that they were in. Philadelphia for the Eagles, obviously. What Tex Schramm did is Tex Schramm went to all the radio stations around the country where there was not a professional football team. Montana, Wyoming, Idaho,
Tom,
Alabama.
please turn off your YouTube. You can hear Rex talking in the background. Sorry, Rex.
Yeah, and he sold them the rights to Dallas Cowboy games. So you could drive or be anywhere in America, and if there was not an NFL team in that area, you automatically got Dallas Cowboy games. So then
Nice.
they ended up getting Dallas Cowboy fans all over the country. It was actually a brilliant move by Tex
Yeah,
Schramm.
that's absolutely brilliant.
But that's where the America's team moniker came from. Because if you were in Nowhereville, you got Cowboys games.
Gotcha.
Tom, welcome, Tom. How are you, sir? Did you have something you wanted to bring up here? Tom?
Should I leave so he could get in?
No, you're both in here.
I can hear you.
Oh, Tom, did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Oh no, I just wanted to comment that as a Cowboy fan, as much as I am a Cowboy fan, I'm not going to sit there and say that they are the greatest team of all time, or the quarterback is the greatest of all time, like some LeBron fanboys.
Well, you got a point there.
Well said, Tom. Well said, Tom.
Once again, let's
Thank you,
understand
Tom.
LeBron James is a singular individual. The Dallas Cowboys are an actual team. So let's get up and jump right there. All right, but once again, how is Dak Prescott not one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL?
The highest.
The highest paid.
I wouldn't have
my
paid
point
him.
is, if
I
The
Dak
highest
Prescott
paid
was
player
the
ever.
Cowboys quarterback, he would not be getting paid that much because he ain't worth that money. He's not one of the top 3 or 5 quarterbacks in the league. So
I wouldn't have paid him
he's
that
getting
much.
paid off the name of the Cowboys. So this is what I'm talking about. They're overhyped, they're over-marketed, and the fan base is delusional. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro.
Speam, did you want to get up on the stage again?
Jesus Christ, I don't even.
Where are you? Do you want to have something to say?
Yo, Scap, they crapping all over Kobe in the comments. Where you at?
Let's go.
right, listen,
what do the
this
callers
is-
got to say? What
it's
do the
some
callers
intimidating
got to
shit.
say?
It's after Cowboys all day for me. Like I said, they ruined my life in 1995.
Emmitt Smith was
And
my
I
favorite player growing up.
haven't turned back since.
Hey, I have a stupid question for the panel. I have a few. I'll do one at a time.
Yes, you're needed here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can you kick him off? God damn.
Who, me?
No.
We're gonna put him backstage for that. No.
Hey, did the antlers thing come about because Rich Paul was actually too dumb to know that goats have horns and not antlers? Is that really how that happened? Or
He's not educated.
Wait, what
I
happened?
want an answer. I know he's not
No, wait,
educated.
listen, think about this. For a second, think about this. He
So you
said
don't
that.
know.
He also said that he's a greater 3-point shooter than Reggie Miller, Steph Curry, and Ray
I
Allen.
know he's
He
dumb.
shoots just as great as them.
I want to know if that's how it started.
I'm going to head back onto YouTube now.
So nobody actually knows.
Can I ask what the antler thing
All
is?
right,
What
thanks
just
for
happened?
calling.
Turn the volume all the way up.
Did he get to ask a question or anything?
He asked about antler, what the antler thing was. Oh, that dude, no. He just came on, said what's up, and left.
No, he asked about the
Cowboys.
We're talking
Yeah,
about. We
Cowboys.
went over like a 10-minute tangent on the Cowboys because of him.
Yeah,
He has Cowboys versus LeBron to me.
Thank you for calling up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Cowboys are the Lakers
For some
of
reason,
the
I thought
NFL.
you read that comment somewhere. My bad.
Yo.
No.
Sorry, guys. What's up?
What's up, Slim Shady? How are you today?
Yo,
you have,
yo, yo.
something you want to bring to the panel?
Yo, Robin. I love your channel. I love your work, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Much respect.
LeBron's not even in my top 10. I'm a 2000s guy, but I respect the legends in sports. I'm a hockey fan, but I miss like the old days in sports, man. I miss the physicality. I miss defense. It's like today's leagues now are just like it's all about stats and skill. It's kind of dumb, and it sucks because, I grew up, in the 2000s, but it's like I remember, physicality, rivalries, man. Rivalries were so good back then. And now it's just like now everything's dead. Now everyone's trying to rewrite the history. It's kind of sad, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're just out here chilling and grilling. It's like I'm out here doing my thing, and just salute to you guys. Thank you for standing up and like really not trying to let these morons rewrite the history. So
Word. Yo, you mentioned something there about the physicality, and you mentioned the word rivalries. When we think about playing sports, if we think about basketball in particular, if you guys have played ball in the streets, when you're playing against someone who's more physical, a guy who's always on you, he won't let you get free. There's no space. He's denying the passing lanes. He's bumping you down low. When those things are going on, when you're playing a game, what ends up happening? You start to take it personal. It starts to get a little chippy, right? Those are the words that they'll use in a game. Oh, this game's getting a little chippy. It's getting a little heated. It's getting a little contested. Why do they mention those things? Because there's a rivalry that's brewing up because either you played against a team a certain amount of times in a season, maybe it's a divisional rivalry, or because the game is physical. This player's physical, whatever the case may be. So when you mention the word rivalry and we think about some of the past eras, it goes right back to the physicality of the game. Being physical, even in the NFL, if you think about guys being allowed to jam you off the line and being allowed to hit guys over the middle and be able to crush the quarterback and blindside hit dudes, when you think about these things in the game, it changes your mindset, but it also brings about the rivalries that we think about back in the 90s and the 80s. Some of these teams, man, it came to fisticuffs. So the physicality is a big part of the rivalries.
even in the 70s as well, the 70s there were some physical battles as well. No one ever really 70s gets crapped on a lot, but I feel like looking back, like the 70s is an underappreciated era because there was physicality and stuff, but there was also just there was a lot of parity as well, like in the 70s in the NBA. Like yeah, the ABA was going on as well, but it's like every team like each that year was like there was a lot of upsets. There was a lot of teams that won each time. There were a lot of great players that don't get enough respect. You had guys coming in from the late 60s. Like. And in the 70s, like, you had your John Havliceks, your Jerry West, your Kareems, your Bill Waltons, your Elgin Baylors, Wes Unseld, Elvin Hayes, Willis Reed, Walt Frazier. Like, these are Oscar Robertson. Like, these are guys that, I could go on and on and on. I'm just listening to names that I can think of, But yeah, it's really cool. So, yeah, I just appreciate the history of sports,
I don't know if that's somebody. I think that might be you, Buki Allen. But welcome, Buki Allen, and welcome, number one Kobe fan. There's some background noise. Number one Kobe fan. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I just want to ask how you guys feel about the future of the league once LeBron leaves. Do you think I heard people talk about the balancing out of legacies once LeBron leaves and Kobe? People start to talk about Kobe more once he's actually not playing and the media can't, follow every game or every move that he does. So do you think at some point we'll be back to normal, I guess, when it comes to sports?
If I can real quick, I think what you mean is like the banana boat culture kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now LeBron, we kind of talked about this on the last show. I think LeBron's a little bit of an albatross around the neck right now. I think a lot of, I've always said I'd never want to be the old guy who's like just strangling culture and not wanting to let go and not letting the young kids kind of make it their own, right? Like they should have their time in the sun as well. And I don't think LeBron's doing a very good job of that right now. I think he should be promoting a lot of the younger guys, helping them, I think giving them their own path to make their own legacy, right? Like, so I think will the banana boat culture totally go away? No, I don't think so, because PR is such a big thing now, and you do have to be, I think, more professional a little bit on the outside these days than you used to. But I think the chippiness and the I want to beat guys instead of playing with them, I think that will go away.
Also consider this. I was a little bit on the fence. I was like, maybe there's a chance it'll improve. And TNT, was brave for a little bit and said, we'll survive without the NBA because ratings were so low. And yet here comes Amazon offering a huge amount of money. So obviously the league isn't going away and the league is still generating money, even though viewership is down. So the product is worse, and yet there aren't any consequences. So why would they change if the money is still there and the product is worse? You know, like people are happily buying shit sandwiches.
That's real. That's real.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to add on to what you guys are saying, man. It also goes to us. What we're doing right now, what we're doing here today, what we've been doing on YouTube, what we must continue to do is hold these guys to the standard. If these guys, like Airways was talking about, if these guys want to lollygag and go through the motions and take the money and load manage and whatever the case may be, not really carry themselves with the honor, the class, the integrity, and be true professionals, then that's fine. They can do whatever they want. That's great. But what happens, guys? At the end of everything, we do not have to compare them and hold them up to the other all-time greats. We don't have to do that. This is the point here. A lot of these people don't understand. They'll be, oh, these guys put up a certain amount of numbers, or they did this and that, then they deserve to be mentioned. But these guys, no, they don't. They haven't earned it. That's what I've been telling you guys. They're not worthy. Someone like LeBron James or James Harden, these guys are not worthy to be in the conversations. We talk about LeBron James. What has he done to uplift the NBA? He's done nothing to uplift it. This is why we have an in-season tournament and a play-in tournament. This is why we have a load management guideline, right? And a flopping guidelines, because they've taken the game and they've destroyed it. So once again, if they want to lollygag and take the money and not really give the effort like the guys did back in the day, that's fine. They can do that. But I'm not going to put those guys in the conversation with the other greats.
Real fast, for the people that are coming in, please make sure that you have your background noise situation figured out. We had Buki Allen come in here. I ended up dropping him off of the stream because there's a lot of background noise. So either keep your mic muted when you're not talking, and make sure you have something you want to say. It's an open panel, so you may just be sitting there for a while. And then I also got a timer going on. I started it. There's about 15 minutes left before I just wipe the panel off. So for that, but real fast, welcome, Kevin. How are you, Kevin? Kevin, are you there?
That was a great speech, though, Dark. Thank you.
I think this is the point of why I even brought it up.
Yeah,
Kevin was not paying attention.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah,
Powerful
man, you ain't
stuff.
ready?
Thank you.
Let's go.
But
All
if
right.
they screw up after the caller asks the question, can't you mute them yourself? Because we don't really need to hear them while we're all talking, and then you can unmute them. I mean, if they don't mute themselves.
I just want to make sure that my mic's not like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just I'm just vibing, It's just I love just talking with people, So yeah, I'm just here chilling with you guys. That's okay.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
I'm a young dude, but I just like learning about the history, just sports and stuff. It's really intriguing to me. But yeah.
Yo, tell these guys to go to your channel, dog. I see people in the comments asking how to join the show or hit the go to his channel, guys. Michael Jordan Fans are the best, and click on the link.
Yeah, you want to go to that, and yeah, I have the same issue.
Yep. All right. We got.
Do you guys still play pickup
I do.
basketball?
Word, yes.
I do rarely, yeah. Maybe once a month, twice a month, something like that.
Yeah, I try to get out. I'm in Atlanta, and going to like a LA Fitness or anything, like even now, you got guys in the 20s and 30s. They just chucking up threes, just playing like the video game now. It's crazy. Like I have to have private runs with my brother and college kids that we played with growing up. I have private runs out here. It's terrible, and the gyms are so packed. Like it's just threes, run. I was just wondering, is it like that for anybody? And
yeah, maybe I should.
Let me answer that, because this is something I've brought up about 1 billion times. I haven't brought it up lately. I can't stand playing pickup games nowadays with kids, just for what you're talking about. It's so terrible. It's a shooter. It's a 3-point contest. Yeah. That's what it is nowadays. I'll sit there. I'll be wide open, and I'll usually play in the dunker spot or whatever, the weak side low block, and I'll go and I'll sit there and I'll be wide open, and they just go and they'll chuck the threes up, and then they don't even run back on defense. So it's really just it's a terrible time for me.
That's the Steph Curry effect right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I play once or twice a month, because if I go and I look in a gym, like, because I do go work out, and if I see a group of guys playing and it looks like it's, I have nothing left to prove, right? I am not playing for pride anymore. I am playing to get a sweat and have, just a good run, right? And so if I peek my head in and it seems like it's a good run, then like all right, I'll play. I got my shoes in the car all the time, but a lot of times I look in and either younger guys or it's way too intense for my liking at the moment. And I'm just like, I'll just go do squats or something. Like I'm good, you know?
It's funny you mentioned going and doing squats, because one of the problems I don't like pickup ball anymore is I'll get more exercise working out on my own. I wanted to play 5-on-5 to get the exercise. These guys stop and argue and fight with each other so often.
Exactly.
And they don't ever resolve it with anyone who actually knows what the actual rule is. It's just who screamed the loudest, and then they say, shoot for it. Shoot for it. No, you don't get to shoot for it when you don't know what the rules are.
Oh, they should do that in the NBA, though. They should be able to shoot for it.
Anything, if I see somebody make a violation, I don't even bother to make the call anymore at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're going to argue. It's like a predisposition just to argue automatically.
My entire pickup history is me getting fouled because I'm a larger guy. So I'm about 6'4", 250. And
you're in the post.
I'm in the post, and I get beat up every day. I don't even call fouls unless you are like hooking me up like this. So I'm
like
gonna get
Williamson
beat up.
in there. Darker, like Zion, like bald white Zion Williamson.
It's basketball as well, because I play points, so I like to dribble and distribute, but nobody cuts, nobody's moving, everybody just standing and went one pass shot.
Yeah.
No fast breaks, no layups, no type of basic basketball play at all. No fundamentals at all.
Hey, number one Kobe fan, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So you still play pickup? Are you familiar with Julian Newman? That
No.
high school kid that's basically ageless. The question I was going to ask was, do you think he's responsible? Actually, him and that entire idea of just over dribbling and being a YouTube sensation like him, Hezzy God, all those guys. As a group, are they equally responsible for the fall of basketball in terms of like fundamentals?
And one started that, in my opinion. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's and one did, but I feel like at least with and one, it was legitimate and it was organic. Like,
and it was
what's that? I'm sorry.
And one was a phase too. It was just a period of basketball, and
correct.
It didn't translate over to the NBA as far as like the moves and stuff like that.
And that's how they played. That's how Rucker Park. That's how they played. Like it was just how it was done. And now it's to your point. Like it's the culture now. Basketball is like shitty culture now. Excuse my language. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, that's real. But I mean, I believe it's if it's some type of financial gain involved with a YouTuber or somebody doing something for YouTube, whether it's a high school student or a college athlete at this point, or even just a streamer, I think what sells is gonna go. So if people like to see the dribbling and all of that, I'm sure somebody's in his ear or, telling him to do more or continue doing what he's doing for the sake of, because if he's in high school, this time is going to pass. 3-4 years are going to pass. So you got to
He's been in high school for like 20 years.
Oh, really?
On paper, yeah. Those guys make money somehow. And you don't knock a hustle. You don't count another man's pockets up until that several times. And they're working, but also like that brand of basketball gets I feel like it gets more airtime than real basketball. So it's like I don't see it getting better in terms of the overall.
Hey, Dart, let me ask Scap something.
Fans actually watching and more people watching for fun than actual, guys like us, I would guess, that actually want to see a good game.
Yeah, no, I agree. You should probably let AOH get his question in before he gets hostile.
Yeah, before I fucking fall asleep. Get Richard Jefferson off the screen.
Come on, guys.
I wanted to bring up another point too as well, but I mean I'll let AOH go first. I want to just.
That's smart. That'd be best.
Yeah,
it's all right.
I know.
Get it out, caller. Get it out. And then
I just wanted to bring up the fact that I feel like nowadays it's I feel like everything now in sports is just about stats, like win or lose. I feel like we praise people for losing, just because they put up great stats in a loss, but it's you lost. No one really cares. You play to win the game, right? I don't know. I feel like that's just really what I want to say, because I feel like stats have taken over. It's stats are good, but I feel like people use portions of stats to make an argument seem a lot more they try to
use these stats, specific stats, to, like, prop up a player for no reason. And it's like, well, I mean, here's a stat, they lost. Like, who cares at the end of the day? You lost. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's, it's just dumb to me. But
Yo, what do we always talk about here? We always talk. Everybody wake the hell up, all right? Wake up, everybody, all right? Let's go, perk up. Listen, what we talk about out here on the Sunday show, I see a lot of these fools running their mouth in the chat, man. What we talk about is the mentality. The mentality, man. Listen, just because you were born in a certain year or wherever you're born, it doesn't matter. You can still have a certain mentality. When we talk about what we do on YouTube right now, we're talking about standing up, guys. That's what all you guys are doing indirectly. You don't even realize it. Everyone that's got a channel, everyone that comes out there, like I said, and stands up and sets the record straight, that stands up against the lies and narratives. We're talking about the mindset of a lot of these guys, man. What you're describing is what? The participation trophy mentality. Everyone wants to celebrate stats, but no one wants to go out there and give the effort. What you guys are talking about with the pickup basketball is the lack of effort. Nobody wants to hustle and get back on D. Nobody wants to play the actual game, run up and down the court. Everyone wants to be lazy. Everybody wants to play half court now. Hey, you guys want to run threes? You want to play fours half? Hell no, I don't. I want to run fours full court. That's what I want to do because I'm there for the exercise. I'm there to compete, damn it. I don't give a damn about your fancy dribbling. I don't care if you can shoot from half court. I don't give a damn. You better be out there hustling. I don't care if it's blacktop. You better be diving on the court. So what I'm saying is the mentality of these guys today. So that's why it's important. What we do, we're here holding the standard, man. So when these guys lollygag and we call them out, this is what we talk about. These guys on ESPN, on the news media networks, they've lost all integrity. Listen to things they say. They're not holding anyone to a standard. I saw someone in the comment section say something about, hey, LeBron James did this on this guy. LeBron James did this on this team. But they're the same teams, the same people that criticize Michael Jordan for getting beat by the Detroit Pistons, but putting up quote-unquote stats. You're not keeping the same energy, quote-unquote, man. It's all about the mentality, man.
I just wanted to say that LeBron James.
Kid. Yo, why don't you fools call up? I see these clowns in the comment section. Yo, Daniel Battle, you running your mouth in the comment section. Why don't you fools ever call up, man? You guys are a bunch of, man, you know what y'all are.
Dark, can you put the Stone Cold Steve Austin music on when he's talking like this?
For you to call up. Call the hell up, you soft fool.
For the NWO, some wrestling music just as he's talking. We can make it a promotion.
Goofs, man, you in there typing? They talking all this recklessness about Kobe. They talking about Michael Jordan saying nonsense. Why don't you call up Daniel? Call up Danny. Call Danny boy. The pipes are calling.
I'm just saying, once someone gives you a nickname, it's like you got to respond. So, Danny,
call up, fool.
I see some people in the comments talking about steroids. And I had this thought. It really summarizes the mentality of LeBron people. Once it's undeniable and once it comes out that he's on steroids, it's just going to be accepted that people use steroids. But they'll go a step further. They're going to start saying LeBron didn't get the best steroids. It wasn't fair for LeBron. Other people had better steroids.
Hey, that's true. And I love your videos, man. That's what really got me started into this, watching those videos, man. I can watch that shit all day.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Like the last 7 that I've tried to put out are blocked.
We've got Tony here. Welcome, Tony.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
So I guess the thing that I had on my mind, relating to the topic in the video title, like LeBron versus Jordan. The main reason I dislike LeBron, and I suspect most of you guys as well, was the decision. And I've recently kind of thought about, well, how much of the because I've started to feel like some of the criticism towards LeBron is a little bit like overblown or unwarranted, just in the sense of like every all-time great has had moments where they choke, just like every all-time great has had moments where they triumphed. And I've thought about, well, if he didn't commit that original sin of the decision and, didn't leave Cleveland that way and then go on and make all these super teams and do all this other stuff to the league, like, would we all dislike him the same way? And I've actually started to think for myself a little bit, no, but it's just such an egregious thing. Because when I think about how team sports work, especially in a professional setting, like that, where there's like so much money on the line and these guys have so much power to shape the game. That's just like the ultimate no-no. Like if if the players can make their own teams, it just things get crazy unbalanced. I mean, obviously, the way teams can be made in general, there's kind of unbalance and luck to it, like, you know, the way draft balls fall and, you know, who has really good general managers or which scout happens to see what. But once the players can do it, it just feels like total cheating. And that's the main reason why I think most people dislike him. I'm just curious what you guys think, because I've just started to feel like all the other criticism of him is inflated because it's all downstream of that, because that's just such an egregious thing to do.
All right.
Real fast,
Thanks,
I just want
Dart.
to say, I just want to say thanks for calling in, Slim Shady, number one
Yeah.
Kobe fan. I'm going to let some other callers on. It's been the 20-minute mark, but thank you for calling, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Bro,
guys.
thanks a
I
lot.
appreciate it. I
Thank you,
appreciate
sir,
it.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
All
Wake your
right.
ass up, Slim Shady.
Change the batteries in your smoke alarm detector, please, guys, for the love of God.
Oh, it's not me this time. That's great. Or is it? No, it's not me. All right, cool.
No, it was number one Kobe fan.
All right.
No. Oh, I didn't even hear that. Does anyone want to respond to Tony?
Just real quick, I want to say it's all about
sakes.
I'm doing it, so it's too late. It's all about perception, right? Like it's funny, AOH, and I'm gonna give you credit when he is busted for steroids. They're gonna say he didn't get the best steroids, or he was a poor black kid growing up, so he should have steroids, and blah blah blah. Like they'll switch how that works, right? The league, as long as LeBron was in the driver's seat, I don't think was ever going to change, because his character is like at the beginning and end of all of this, it's his character. I feel like that needs to be called to question more than his basketball, because that's where it all starts. I mean, if the dude could give you information after the first page of a book, or he could lie and then take accountability of said lie instead of deferring, or actually admit that he's not educated in something before he speaks on it, like a lot of this would change. But he's not. Like everything I just said, he's the complete 180, and that's just on a human level. And that's not judgment, that's just observation. I don't think you can argue that he moves like a dishonest person in a lot of facets in his life. I don't think that's opinion.
Well, there aren't any consequences for doing stupid things like that. Like that's how you get so sloppy. Like the book thing comes up a lot. I want to add something to that. Not only was it shockingly disrespectful to Malcolm X and anyone who appreciates what Malcolm X did, but how do you stage something and not have the discipline to at least prepare for one or two questions? You can't go in that book, and even if you don't care what it says, at least memorize one line so you're prepared for one question. That's sloppiness, and it shows where we are with accepting the behavior of these guys, that they can get away with it so much that they don't even bother to be prepared when they actually stage a fake reading of a book.
It's hubris, man. It's all arrogance. People are dumber now.
And how do you become arrogant?
They can get away with it.
How do you become arrogant when nobody calls you out? When you never have to face your own shortcomings?
Bro, you're gonna get a lot of pushback every time you talk about how LeBron's ruining society on some level, but there's truth to that, because he has a large platform, and a lot of what he represents and a lot of his practices, kids see it.
Well, the main pushback is the chicken or the egg. Did society start going down and allow for a LeBron, or did LeBron affect society? Yeah, they happen together. You can argue all day, but they're going hand in hand down the drain. LeBron, I'll tell you this much: LeBron isn't doing anything to fight against it. He isn't doing anything to lead us out of the darkness.
Yeah, I mean things like
real fast. We got Mr. Cropper and Kevin in here. I don't think we heard Kevin last time. Are you both of you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. My phone wasn't working. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mr. Cropper, are you there? All right, Mr. Cropper, I'm removing you from the stream. Kevin, did you want to bring something up to everyone on the panel?
Yeah. Thanks for letting me in today. As always, a great convo. I think I'll be honest. I don't like the name drop, but Uncommon has been, I would say, on fire lately. A lot of his content, and he brought up a good point. When we're kind of just looking at LeBron's intent, and I think all of these things are a big problem, but I think the more sinister thing about him is the media. We have never seen any player try to insert himself into the media as much as he does. Whereas he has got all of these different connections everywhere so that he puts all of the effort that he should put on the court, off the court, to make sure that the perception of him is what he wants. And if you go all the way back to the beginning of when he was trying to find his way. And I always think back to that series when he played against Orlando and he lost. And just the way he handled it. I think that was the turning point of where he said, you know what, I can either dig down deeper and figure out a way, or I can try to get other people to think the way I want them to think about my failures. And it's unfathomable to think that somebody would go to the lengths that they would to try to get the NBA and all these networks to try to be on his side and make sure everything is just massaging his back, excuses. And I just wanted to see, like, if you guys thought the same thing, because that's the thing even worse than the decision or anything. We've never seen Michael Jordan go to the media and try to get them to rewrite the history as sports and fitness would say. We've never seen Kobe run and try to get them to rewrite the history or paint the future the way we needed to. So just wanted to see what you guys thought.
Yeah. Can I go? Oh.
Well, actually, Rex,
Rex,
I don't think you've said one thing this entire time. Would you like to...
explained how the Cowboys
he told
got
the whole
the
story
moniker
about the Cowboys
America's
American team.
Oh, okay. But would you like to answer this question or this comment on it?
Well, I mean, LeBron is like officially a billionaire now, right?
Yeah.
But just like every billionaire, he controls the narrative. He has the money. Thus, he has the power. He's made the connections. Jordan didn't have to do it. He had Nike to push him. That's called smart business. But there's a different they did it different ways. One did it off of achievement. One seems to be doing it off of character flaw, for lack of a better, I don't know if any of y'all know a better term. He's trying to control it.
He's almost like purposely baiting.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Attention. Yeah, that's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I couldn't think of the words. Like a bait and trap type of situation. He does something to get the conversation started. Then his minions, if you will, start arguing for him, and he gets to step away from it like he's not involved.
Yep,
but he's a billionaire. Don't forget that. They decide things in every aspect of society.
He owns multiple media companies.
Yeah.
Kevin, please mute your mic when you're not talking. There's a lot of backdrop. I was trying to figure out where it was coming from. Or leave.
Well, I would say for like real hoop fans, that's like the big tragedy of LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Like, you imagine like what their careers would have been like if they hadn't, joined the Warriors or joined the Heat or whatever, because it would have been so much better for us to experience and watch. Like, because that's the real trajectory that all the other greats before them were on. They had years where they failed, years where they fell short, and they finally like reached that next level, the next year, and triumph organically. And like, those are the moments that we want to see. That's like witnessing real greatness. And he like, you could say he robbed himself of that, but he really robbed the fans of that, because he was on that trajectory. Like I remember being a fan of him before he went to Miami. And then once he went to Miami, he was just like, no, this is not the way. This is all wrong.
The problem is, was he on that trajectory though? Him being on that trajectory would imply that he was working through challenges, getting better, taking on the obstacles, preparing better in the offseason. Essentially, look, we see LeBron now. Look, he has morphed into a reliable at times three-point shooter, mainly because of just sheer volume of how much he's shooting these days. But for like the whole first decade of his career, one of the major knocks on him was his game was not evolving. He wasn't adding a consistency or a reliability to his jump shot. He wasn't ever really adding a post game into his repertoire. Like
because he doesn't play one-on-one.
Instead of systematically adding those things, like look at like what Magic came into the league as, look at what Kobe came into the league as. Like those guys went in every single offseason, same with Jordan, added an element to their game. Like Giannis hasn't done it. He's been trying to add a jump shot. He hasn't done it to this point. But Giannis isn't running around the league to various different teams, amassing super teams around him. Look, instead of LeBron, fortifying his game, taking on challenges, he instead just went and stacked rosters around him to make the game easier and to open up certain elements of the game and the floor for him. And that's really where his success came from, I think, in Miami. What you just discussed was, look, it's the standard hero's journey, the hero's quest that mostly every other great athlete we've seen, at least in the NBA, has always, taken the challenge to go through those learning pains and to go through those hardships and to continually get better and to take on those challenges. LeBron, one of the reasons why I dislike him so much, and you can lump KD in there as well, is because those guys just sidestepped all those obstacles. I don't think they were never on, the right path, because they're just simply, quite frankly, they're not cut from the same cloth as every other player that's come before that we've seen. One of the most interesting things, and I'll turn it over, but I just want to lay this out about LeBron James. Look back into the history of the NBA and all of the greats that really that we really think of in each era. Every great that came after those players generally incorporated something from those people into their game, whether it be their actual tactical performance on the court or just their mindset. Every player that we see from basically the 60s on until LeBron wanted to do it the same way as those other guys. And if you look just to the LeBron passing of the torch from Kobe took it from Jordan. They're cut from the same mindset. Like those guys wanted to go through you, not join with you, buddy with you, be friends with you, get easy championships. Somewhere along the way, the system broke down, and that it broke down with LeBron James because he was a complete coward and he refused to take the challenge that all the other guys that preceded him were willing to take.
Real fast. There's Ed and Mr. Cropper in here, but people keep asking about how to call in. You can either, if one of these gentlemen drop the link on their channel, you can do it that way, or you can come to my channel.
They playing games. They know to call in. Don't be scared. I promise I won't yell. I won't yell at you.
Hey, listen, when Robin yells, he's spitting out facts. These other guys, these LeBron people, are just going to drop the N-bomb and the F-bomb. And you know what I'm saying, every other word?
Or, no, LeBron James fans say you don't know basketball. That's their go-to line. Well, if you disagree with them, you don't know basketball.
And hater.
No, you count pockets. You're counting pockets, especially if you're black. They tell you count pockets.
Can I ask a question to the panel?
Or half black.
Yes, real fast. I just wanted to add that Robin, there is no yelling for Robin because the volume is always up, and you should turn it up on top of it. Anyway, yes, Ed and Mr. Cropper, welcome.
We should vote on that. I'm sorry for Robin.
I think it was Ed asking if you could ask a question, please.
No, it was Mr. Cropper. I'm sorry, I had those audio issues a second ago. But because I'm a big fan of like setting a grounds for equality and standards when grading people on a scale. So what is you guys' criteria for, I know some guys don't have LeBron in their top 5. I don't either, but I don't have him outside of the top 10. And I feel like my criteria for that is pretty solid. So I'm curious to hear you guys, is it strictly the eye test for you? Is it emotional? Is it strictly on the court?
Let me answer first because mine's quick. Mine is just purely about dominance across the individual statistical dominance, team success, and then icon.
Okay.
It's that simple.
That's the problem. We got a lot of directions we could go with that answer.
Yeah,
you should not.
Well, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I asked, because that's what I want to hear. I just want to get a grasp of how does everybody literally grade greatness through their eyes.
Sorry, Robin, go.
I'll be real brief. I'll try to be brief. Listen, man, when you talk about the word criteria, I do not like that word. All right? Because there is no criteria. If I'm debating LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, for example, the problem I have with a lot of LeBron James supporters is they will not keep it that way. So if I'm in a debate between those players and I say, yeah, well, Michael Jordan, 6-0 in the finals, man, through 2 3-peats, got 5 MVPs, blah, 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 blah. What do the LeBron James fans say? Oh, well, if it's about championships, then Bill Russell's the GOAT. If it's about MVPs, then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's the GOAT. They're not making any sense. So once again, man, the criteria changes for whoever you're debating against. It doesn't really matter. But if you have a criteria and you're saying right now that LeBron James is in your top 10, you've lost me, man, because once again, you're not taking into account what the intangibles of LeBron James and the other all-time greats. You're not holding him to that standard. There's no way in hell, this God's green earth, that you can look yourself in the mirror as a grown man or as an adult and say that LeBron James is top 10. He's worthy to be compared to the guys in your mind who you think are top 10 players, the discussion, the top 12, 15 guys that you're debating against. There's no way you can put him in that conversation because the man's continuously
can I
walked off the court.
elaborate real quick?
No, I'm elaborating right now. Then you can go after this. Let me finish my rap right here. So once
Okay,
again, when you talk about all the things that LeBron James does on camera, you're not holding him to that standard. So this is what we talk about on this channel. You have to hold the standard, man. And once again, everybody on the same standard. You're not going to keep Michael. Think about this for a second. Could Michael Jordan have walked off the court early against the Detroit Pistons anytime he wanted to? He definitely could have walked off the court early. He never did, though. He held the standard of the other all-time greats. He stood on the court and shook hands. Did Michael Jordan ever blame his teammates like he did J.R. Smith? Did he ever point the finger at Scottie Pippen for the migraine game or the elbow he took in Game 6 in 1989? He could have blamed Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and a bunch of these guys many, many times. He could have yelled at them and clowned them out. He never did that. What did Michael Jordan do? He didn't trade them. He continued to work with them in practice. These are the things that we're alluding to. You're not holding LeBron James to any standard.
No, so for me, I feel like personally the NBA has set a standard, and they do that through their award system. Because if you look at the definition for every award the NBA's got, they have where they award the best performing player. Like sports and fitness. I'm not
criteria for
I'm not disagreeing with
that, though.
It's a completely different criteria now, my man. You cannot look at the accolades. The Alonzo Mourning has 2 all-defensive teams and 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So once again, you can't just look at an accolade and say, oh, this or that, or this, and they have a point system or a criteria. It don't work that way.
But
there is no criteria. There is no criteria for awards. You get voted on. That's the criteria. Somebody votes
one of
on
the
you.
great defenders in NBA's history.
I agree with
He's
you,
never
but I'm saying
recorded a single block or steal.
We don't have a way to put all of these players on an equal ground, on an equal footing, to actually show where the separation.
No, class, integrity, sportsmanship.
How do you measure that? How do you measure that, my man? How do you measure that?
Eye test. You measure that with eye test.
Okay, so thank you. That's all. That's all I wanted.
No, it's more than that. If LeBron James walks off the court early and you're watching him do that, you have to hold him to that standard.
He says eye test, and I agree with him, but you're saying no.
It has to matter to you.
For that particular detail of you guys' conversation, my answer was eye test. That's how you see if someone has some integrity. They'll show you that they don't with their body language. LeBron James.
Right. And that's what I was saying, because this is what I want to say. As far as criteria, I have 2. I have one where if I'm going strictly off accolades and I look at what all players of the past have done, then I'll start a scale there. After that, that's when I'll go into, okay, what do my eyes tell me versus what's on paper? So when I came in with the question of where do you guys all start with, how you define the greatest players and where you show the separation, I was just curious to know, because all of you have different perspectives. Scap has his own, Sports and Fitness got his own, AOH, you got your own, MJF, you got yours. But I want to know if you guys have ever kind of had a ground where you put all of these guys on the same level, and then you go from there to say he's better because of this or he's better because of this. Because starting from there, like the Kobe disrespect over the years.
That's a core of my frustration, because I want to measure them on an even level, and you can't.
Agreed.
Things have changed so much. It's almost like a different sport. So we can't. Even if I wanted to measure LeBron against the guys from the past, I mean, look at the change in the offensive rules. Like someone was talking about the physicality of the 70s. Man, you couldn't even like. God damn, is that what I sound like?
Yeah, it sounds worse, actually. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If you started to bend your elbow at all.
Ed, please mute yourself. You're listening to YouTube or something on speaker. It's got a lot of background.
You see.
God, all right, I'm gonna mute him. I'm gonna mute him and keep him muted for a while.
Kick him.
All right. Anyway,
There's some good videos on YouTube that show how the rules have changed. If you started to extend your arm at all, like on a hook or something, that's an offensive foul. Now you straight looks like running back in football, stiff arming somebody, clear them out of the way, and run over the top of them, and you get to go to the free throw line after that. I mean, how can I possibly measure those people on the same criteria?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, for me, it makes no sense to have. I understand the point of somebody trying to have a weighted criteria,
Sure.
and even if you have everything as one, it still is biased, because even if you keep it even, you know, there's things that can matter. It depends on the lens that you're looking at things, and then again, like the caller was saying, it's not fair, and what AOH was saying, it's not fair when you judge it over all of time because there's so many differences. So it really just doesn't make any sense. To do it.
Listen.
Who has
hold on. Let me just say this real quick, guys. All right, hold on a second. Let's clarify something here, okay? When you guys are talking, what you guys are talking about is statistical things. Yes, the accolades, the stats, you're right. That can change off the rules and the players and who voted this. Yeah, all that, we get that. But the things that I'm talking about, when you're talking about playing the game the right way, holding yourself to a standard, once again, that doesn't change. That's never changed. Carrying yourself with class and integrity and playing with that love of the game, giving that effort on both sides of the ball, being a true professional, that's never changed. Being a pro, you're supposed to be being a pro. Walking off the court is still walking off the court. It don't matter if it's 1930 or 1999. It's the same thing. So I can damn sure judge LeBron James off the way that he's carried himself as a superstar player in the NBA, based off the way Jerry West carried himself, based off the way Bill Russell carried himself, based off the way Michael Jordan did, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant. And you can definitely, absolutely say LeBron James is not even deserving to be compared to those guys. It's so easy to see. And that's why I say you're not holding yourself, your own self. Look yourself in the mirror and say, can I get behind someone like LeBron James that would yell and scream at his teammate like he did J.R. Smith? Would I get behind someone like LeBron James that would walk off the court and his team? This wasn't Isaiah Thomas walking off with the team. This is LeBron James walking off by himself. And then you think in your mind, and you hear people say he's better than Michael Jordan, or he's right behind Michael Jordan, and you think about the examples I just said. Michael Jordan could have walked off in '95 when he came back from baseball, and they carried Horace Grant off the court, and they were doing. Michael Jordan didn't walk off early. He didn't feel sorry for himself. What did he do? He told his trainer, "I'll see you tomorrow morning. We got work to do, man."
I agree with you.
Anyway, real fast. So I'm gonna clear out Tony and Mr. Cropper. Thank you guys for calling. I'm gonna keep Ed on and see if he's there. But thank you, gentlemen, for calling. I'm gonna open the lines up for more callers. But thank you for calling in.
I'm just trying to go piecemeal. I'm trying to go with. There's so many different ways that LeBron doesn't measure up, and you're right with everything you said. All right, but there's so many directions to go with it. Most of what you talked about is integrity and sportsmanship and leadership. And on top of that, you can't even go with the stats either.
AOH, it's all that stuff that adds context. Like, that's what people don't understand. Is like, yeah, if you look at numbers, that's cool. But those leadership intangibles, the piston and moan and the outright lying, when you go ahead.
You can't even count accolades anymore. I mean, what more proof you need than the Olympic MVP?
Right, which I couldn't even tell you 5 Olympic MVPs, right? So it's like, when you have all those numbers and you have all those accolades, you look at the character and how they got them. That's what discussions and debates are for. But for whatever reason, you can't. We're talking to a bunch of artificial intelligence.
Real fast, Ed. Well, welcome Jordan Leonard. Welcome Dan Meyer. Ed, you've been sitting here patiently for a while. Do you have something you want to bring to the panel?
Hi there. I want to double down on what Scap Attack has said earlier about LeBron James not developing the necessary skill to, be a more complete basketball player. Well, I think you have noticed already that LeBron James, aside from having an abysmally inconsistent jump shot most of his career, he also has limited off-ball movement. He's limited to just cutting to the rim for an alley-oop or an easy pass from a teammate for a layup or a dunk. And also he has a lousy footwork, as we all know. That's why LeBron James cannot play within a sophisticated offensive system compared to Michael Jordan.
Scab, did
That's
you want
my
to?
first. Mhm. Well, the most glaring, I think this is a bit well known. When early in the 2014-2015 season, when David Blatt is like running the modified Princeton offense in Cleveland, and then I heard that LeBron had that scrap in favor of his LeBron ball offense.
All right. I'm going to mute you because you got terrible background.
That was a great call right there.
Yeah, Scap, do you want to answer? Because Ed's got some weird backdrop stuff. Do you want to? Because I know he brought up your point. Do you want to say something about it?
I mean, no, not necessarily. I just think that LeBron has amassed. I think he's amassed a really legitimate conversation to some. I'm hearing myself.
Ed, please mute your. Yeah, Ed, please mute yourself, dude. I did mute him. I was hoping he would have muted himself after. Anyway, sorry.
Here's the thing with LeBron. I can understand when you're just counting raw statistical accomplishments. I can see why some people rank LeBron very highly, why they tout him to the degree that they do. But if you've actually evaluated his gameplay throughout the course of his entire career, which many of us have, he has obvious limitations and shortcomings to his game that he has never fully addressed. Even at this stage of his career, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's 40 years old. He's 40 years old." He's on the NBA. He's on an NBA basketball court. He made an All-NBA, all-team selection last year. We need to start criticizing him accordingly. The guy has tendencies to be an elite defender. He has flashed abilities to be a great defender in the past, but he, by and large, doesn't do it for large stretches of the regular season and even the playoffs because he's taking time off so he can just coax around on the offensive side of the ball. He's still, honestly, 21 years in, doesn't have as good of a post game as I would have liked to see. And because he shoots about 1,000 threes a game, his percentage has been creeping up. But by and large, he's still the same streaky, inconsistent jump shooter that he's always been. This guy, look, is a 37% shooter outside of 4 feet from the basket for 21 years. He disguises these limitations and shortcomings by systematically jumping to ideal situations, tailor-made for him to maximize his winning opportunities, and yet 21 years in has only won 4 titles. It's absolutely embarrassing.
If he's a great three-point shooter, why isn't anyone guarding him?
They beg him to shoot.
Yeah.
Exactly. They are daring him to shoot. And look, people say 4 rings. This guy should have like 8 or 9 championships based on the way that he has padded every single setting that he's gone to. I mean, it's just ridiculous that he only has 4 championships when you look at how elite his longevity has been, physically how well he's held up, and all of the elite teams that he's been on. And until recently, in a straight trash conference, he basically had a free pass into the NBA Finals for like 15 straight years, and he still only has 4 championships somehow. And we're talking GOAT. We're talking top 5. He's a clinger onto the top 10. He's a fringe top 10 merely because of his statistical accrual of like random points and stuff that he's gotten on dunks and layups primarily.
Well, hey, Sports T is dropping some good comments. Call in.
Yeah, Sports T. I was on her. She had a live stream last night. I asked her if she wanted to come on the panel. I mean, that wasn't really the most official way to do it, so she might have missed my comment.
Well, I was listening to her. It must be last night's show. I was listening to it while I was jogging this morning. I've got some counterpoints. We should talk about it. I'd rather talk to people face to face than
Sports T. Yeah, it's going to be a little hard to get in here unless you're constantly trying to call in because people are trying to call in. But if you want to join the show next time, I'll shoot you an email. Just let somebody know in the chat, or otherwise I'll just email you anyway. Anyway, Dan Meyer, you're saying you have a point against what Scap is saying?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's not surprising, Scap. He has all these padded stats, but look at what he's done. He leaves teams the moment he doesn't get what he wants or doesn't get the result that he wants. The man, how many teams has this man been on? He's left one team because they didn't do very well, and then he left it again to go play with his friends in Miami, and then went back to Cleveland and expected to win a championship with the super team, and it took him like what, 3 tries to do that, and then he left again when he didn't win it the next year.
Best record in his conference wasn't doing well. Remember that. Remember how we the revisionist version of what was happening with LeBron. You know, they were doing well. He just isn't the guy to get you over the finish line.
Guys, real quick.
Yeah, it seems like if he. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. LeBron in his prime with 2 different super teams in a conference. His primary competition was like the DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry Raptors, and the very young Paul George Indiana Pacers. Chicago had like 1 or 2 good years before Derrick Rose obliterated his knee. Like, that is all he had to contend with. He literally was in the finals, or should have been in the finals, every single year. And he's 4-6 in that round, despite having, if you are that elite of an all-time player, if you're that great, you just get within 4 whiffs of the championship and you fail routinely and continually time after time after time. I can't, this is why, going back to some previous callers, why I could never, ever have this guy even remotely near my top 5. Even if
you forgot he had to go through Tyler Hansborough. He had to go through Tyler Hansborough too.
I don't get it. Like, his longevity at this point is actually working against him because he's playing at such a high level for so long and failing still to play.
Can I get in on this?
Yes,
yes. Okay, so I got one quick point with an analogy attached, and I got one more elaborate point. The quick point is this, and this goes directly off of what you just said, Scap. Longevity is only a tiebreaker. Okay, that's very important. If you're evaluating, so longevity is only a tiebreaker to greatness. So let me give you an analogy on that. If you're evaluating, say, the best steakhouses in the world, okay, and one steakhouse has decent, okay, above average steaks, but they've been in business for 50 years, okay, and then another steakhouse has only been in business for 10 years, but they got the best almighty, tastiest steaks you've ever had in your life, then it's not even close. You judge the evaluation based on who is the best in their peak, in their prime. So maybe if they were both in business for 50 years or both in business for 10 years and they're very close. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. If they're very close in their stakes actual quality, then maybe after that you evaluate the tiebreaker, okay, on who's got the best stake, and then maybe the longevity matters at that point. But in terms of the actual greatness, longevity is never, including longevity stats, okay, that should never be in the equation unless you're really at a tie break situation. That's the first point. The second point is, it really bothers me how the media discusses shooting, okay, and especially historically, because I understand in the modern era, when people look at shooting, they mostly just jump straight to 3-point shooting, okay? But here's the problem. The millennial generation and the Gen Z generation need to be very careful how they evaluate history, because before the Steph Curry generation and before the year 2000 especially, okay, you cannot evaluate shooting just based on their 3-point percentage, because that wasn't the nature of the game. People didn't practice 3-pointers. Their muscle memory was not honed to 3-pointers. And for example, Michael Jordan, okay, he's the greatest mid-range shooter of all time. That's shooting. In fact, not just mid-range shooting, because I consider mid-range about 15 feet, okay? Michael Jordan is the #1 greatest extended mid-range shooter of all time. We're talking 17 feet, 19 feet, 21 feet. Michael Jordan is the single greatest shooter from extended mid-range of all time. Just because he didn't hone his muscle memory outside 3-point land, that's not what they focused on back then. And by the way, when Michael Jordan was growing up in the backyard in high school and college, they didn't even have a 3-point line. So he didn't hone his muscle memory from all those years That's just not how he designed his game. Larry Bird only shot 3 threes a game. He was the best three-point shooter ever. But nowadays, if Larry Bird played, he'd be shooting 10 threes a game. So people have to be very careful when evaluating who the great shooters are of all time. You can't just look at the three-point stats. And let me say one more thing about that. When you look at Michael Jordan's three-point stats, okay, if you look at the first 10 years of his career, attempts per game, it was like 0.7, 0.8, 1.1 attempts per game. Well, guess what? When the shot clock's running down and you've got the ball in your hand with 2 seconds, you got to heave a shot up at the rim at the end of a quarter, at the end of a half. When you got the ball at half court, you got to heave a shot up just to give your team a chance. Okay, that's one shot. That one shot in the game, that's a very low percentage shot, whether it's the end of the shot clock or the end of a quarter, the end of the half. That tanks your percentage. Now, if you're shooting 10 threes a game, then one of those shots isn't going to do a whole lot of damage. But if that's your only three-point shot the entire game is when the shot clock was ticking down or the end of the quarter, the end of the half, then guess what? Your percentages are going to be trash. Okay, so people need to put context on these three-point stats before the year 2000. Okay, another thing is when they
Oz,
hold on, I want to say something. Go ahead.
I want to let Jordan Leonard say something because he's been sitting here for a while. Jordan Leonard, do you have anything to say about the beef wagyu of Michael Jordan versus the prime rib of LeBron James?
Yeah, I just want to say first time, long time. Keep going, you guys. Great work.
You're cutting in and out, sir.
My bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, first time, long time. Keep doing great work, you guys.
Thanks a lot, man.
My only beef is that it's bullshit what LeBron been getting away with these past years. And as a Chicago Bulls fan since the 2010-11 season, we had Miami every year on the ropes, every game in the season. One, playoffs come, game one, win. After that, we just dropped off. I don't know what happened, and we didn't have enough help. But it's sad to say what Bulls are going through right now. As a Bulls fan, trade Zach LaVine right now, please. And I have one hot take. I think 2017 Warriors, those guys from the top down had a plan to take out Kawhi Leonard because it would look bad on LeBron's legacy if Kawhi would have beat the Warriors, then beat him.
Robin, you said you wanted to say something?
Yeah, my man Haas came in, man. He came with some facts, man. When he was talking about Michael Jordan, we're talking about the three-point shot. I just wanted to say it, man, about that. I mean, amazing, man. When people talk about the three-point shot being moved in, right? And they talk about, oh, Michael Jordan couldn't shoot threes. He only could shoot threes when they moved the line in because his era couldn't shoot threes, so they moved the line in. No, once again, they moved the line in to entice these guys to shoot more often to get the scoring to go up. But when we think about Michael Jordan and we think about the game and what he was talking about, Michael Jordan taking those long twos, I was watching the Bulls 1993 Eastern Conference Finals Game 5 last night, and they showed the shot chart of Michael Jordan from Game 4 when he put up like 54 points in that series or whatever. If you looked at the shot chart, like he had like 9 or 10 shots 1 foot inside the three-point line, and that was the old original three-point line. So when they moved the three-point line in, what they essentially did was they moved it right in Michael Jordan's wheelhouse because he's already known and taking those shots regularly throughout his game, throughout his repertoire. So I wanted to bring that up. It's very important. And the one more thing I wanted to talk about, add on what he mentioned about the three-point shooting, the way it was done back in the 90s, let's say, for example. If you were a three-point shooter, a specialist, let's say, for example, you might only take 2, 3, 4 shots a game at most, let's say. So what does that do? It only allows you to miss 1 or 2 to be considered an effective shooter, right? For you to be able to shoot the second or third 3. If you didn't make the first one, you may not be able to take the second one. If you didn't make the first 2 back in those days, you were not going to be allowed to shoot 3, 4, 5 threes. So what he's talking about is you had to be more effective because if you're only taking 2 or 3 shots, you only have you have to make them. You can't miss. If you're taking 10 threes now, you can miss 6 or 7 and still be considered a good three-point shooter. And let me say one more thing on that point, and this relates to shooting and extended shooting and it's sort of distance from the rim. Okay, the biggest indictment of LeBron, and the way I kind of contextualized LeBron, and you might think this is surprising, but I'll back this up. I analogize LeBron to Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, and the way I would say it is both of them were very dominant, but they were both one-trick ponies. Right? They were 0 to 3 feet from the rim. If you look at LeBron's career field goal percentage, breaking that, go to basketballreference.com, scroll down, look at LeBron's field goal percentage by distance from the rim. If inside 3 feet, he shoots almost like Shaq. But outside 3 feet, he also shoots almost like Shaq. I mean, outside 3 feet, LeBron is really like, we're talking even inside the paint from 3 to 10 feet. LeBron's like 40%. From 10 to 15 feet, LeBron's about 36%. I mean, we're talking really putrid numbers outside 3 feet from the rim. You cannot be a top 5 player with those breakdowns. That's why Shaq is not a top 5 player. If you're a one-trick pony and your only trick is getting set on a screen to a smaller guard and then steamrolling that dude to the rack in a league where the rules have been softened, where you can't even touch a dude no more when they're driving the lane, then guess what? You should be around Shaquille O'Neal in the all-time rankings because you're a one-trick pony. You get all your shit from 0 to 3 feet from the rim, and you don't have a bag of tricks. You don't have any other skill set. And by the way, with respect, we all know how much we like Kobe, right? In terms of Michael Jordan's shooting, Michael Jordan was 6 to 8 percentage points better shooter than Kobe.
Man.
And we know how much we like Kobe shooting the basketball, but Michael Jordan was 6 to 8 percentage points better shooter than Kobe with all those difficult shots Michael Jordan took. So Michael Jordan, bar none, is one of the top 5 shooters of all time. Spare me the 3-point stat watching. Okay, Michael Jordan is one of the top 5 shooters of all time, period.
Haas, real quick, Shaq was definitely not a one-trick pony. I do have to give some pushback on that. When they asked him to be athletic and work on his footwork, he did. And they were super successful. He wasn't just a bully.
I'm talking about distance from the rim. I'm talking about distance from the rim.
Okay,
gotcha. Distance from the rim. Shaq was 0 to 3 feet. LeBron was 0 to 3 feet. And beyond 3 feet, both of them were trash.
Please let the other guys talk, please.
And Richard Jefferson, you're correct. Shaq was shockingly agile, but I think to Haas's point,
fuck that. Mute him. Go ahead.
The difference is that Shaq was supposed to do that. That was Shaq's job. There's nothing wrong with that. You had your Kobe, you had your Robert Horry.
That's right.
What the hell do those guys need to be underneath the rim for?
Yeah, you can be great with one trick. You just can't be top 5.
Now, Haas, I have an analogy to your analogy. When LeBron's Steakhouse was kind of cooking something.
Well, they had one year in 2011. The steaks were all moldy and putrid and smelly.
Well, my point is, LeBron wasn't even the cook. LeBron wasn't even the chef. He wasn't manning the grill. LeBron was there, like maybe putting some parsley on at the end of the fucking thing. You look at LeBron's Miami years. I'm going to say this again. He was a Daniel Gafford that got the ball more often. Wow, he can finish an alley-oop. Good job.
All right, you know what's funny, man? 0 to 3 feet from the rim. Look it up.
I have one shooting percentage that we didn't talk about there, Haas.
Dan, this is the last thing I'm going to get you and Haas out here for more callers to come in. But yeah, say your piece and then. But thank you guys for calling.
You didn't talk about LeBron's free throw percentage.
Oh, right.
Because that's just abysmal. He shoots. He barely shoots for his career wise. I'm looking at it right now. He shoots 73% on his career, but there's only been like 5 times throughout his career where he's hit over 75%, and the average guy, at least today, hits around 78 to 80% on free throws. That's bare minimum. So again, he's still below average.
Yep, absolutely. But thank you, gentlemen, for calling. People keep asking how to call in. The easiest way, I keep consistently posting the link in my channel. Is
Where's Daniel at? Daniel ain't called up. This dude's still yapping in the comments. Come on, man.
But yeah, you can come to my channel. that's the easiest way to do it, is to come to my channel. But thank you, calling Haas. Thank you, calling Dan.
Come on, the Switch. Call up the Switch. Stop running your mouth in the comments. Bunch of
The
goofs, man.
I'll put the
Swish
link
is
in
one
the
of those
video
guys
description.
that he just says, yeah, you don't know basketball. That's that's my favorite response when people disagree with something that I say. They just say, you don't know basketball. Okay, that's very yeah. Anyway, welcome YT Hoops.
What's up, fellas? It's nice to see the gang back together. How's everybody doing?
Hey, YT.
All right, I have a pretty hot take. It's actually funny because I didn't plan it ahead of that guy coming on, but so I'll make it I'll be pretty quick, but it's really two things. So that whole bag argument, he's basically making a bag argument. I think it's crazy. I think it's antithetical to the game of basketball, of what we valued. I think it's almost everything wrong with basketball today. Oh, well, yeah, are you an effective player or not? The reality is that Shaq was one of the most effective basketball players that's ever stepped foot on a basketball court. So much so that now this is a corollary to that. I think it's so difficult to really compare players across eras that I'm now taking the position, this might be the hottest take ever, I'm just going off of kind of what I've seen and not necessarily accolades, almost removing accolades from it. Shaq's my GOAT. I think Shaq's the best basketball player that's ever lived. I think he's the most effective player that's ever stepped foot on a basketball court. Did he accomplish most? No. Is he the most decorated? You have the best bag? Absolutely not. I think he's the most effective basketball player that's ever stepped foot on a court.
Punchline.
Real quick. Hold on, real quick. There
How
is
would
a
you rate him
book out there.
stake-wise? How would you rate him stake-wise?
There is a book out there that makes the argument for Shaq being the greatest ever.
There is no.
It's been a while since I've read it, but he essentially kind of breaks it down by shot selection and how effective he was. Essentially, it's largely a statistical argument, but there is a book out there that makes that case. I'd have to find the name of it.
Scottie Pippen has a book.
You'll find it in the fiction section.
Let me try to find
it. Here's my issue with I have Shaq somewhere. Again, he's fringe top 10 to me as well. And to just kind of go back to the point that the previous caller was making and comparing LeBron to Shaq, my issue with both players, I do kind of see some correlation between the two of them, is they are effective and efficient in the type of shots they take and make, but the limitations in their game also kind of shortened what their abilities were, basically, essentially to carry a team on their own, to win the most challenging of championships. Neither one of them were able to do that. Shaq didn't win anything until Kobe Bryant came into the equation. Kobe Bryant was the guy that was leading the Lakers in the fourth quarter. Kobe Bryant was the guy who was leading the NBA in clutch time scoring during those 3 championships. Shaq was limited in the sense that he first needed to get the ball from one of his guards, firstly, and secondly, the guy couldn't make free throws. You couldn't put the ball in his hand down the clutch in pivotal and important moments, which is why Kobe Bryant was the closer and the guy that was winning those championships in the clutch times. So the same is true of LeBron James. The guy is not a clutch performer. He cannot win challenging games down the stretch in the clutch because of his limitations. Is he effective? Does he shoot a high percentage inside? Sure, all those things are true. And Shaq absolutely was a thoroughly dominant player. And I talk a lot of shit on LeBron James, but he's in the top 10 range. And so is Shaquille O'Neal in the top 10 range. But when you're looking at trying to figure out how to sort out those top 10 or those top 12 or 13, I'm going to look at the guys who can answer yes to the questions of, can I get my own shot? Can I get my own shot against challenging defense? Can I finish these games myself? Shaq never could answer yes to that. Therefore, putting him as number 1 all time is absolutely as laughable to me as putting LeBron James at number 1 all time.
Real fast, welcome Goatcast Hoops. And man, I forget what I was going to say otherwise. It had something to do. Oh, that's what it was. I got a hot take right here. I think I might put LeBron James back in my top 10. I'm going to relook at
listen,
it.
We're going off the rails now. Hold on here. Hold on.
Taking out Mikan?
Listen.
Oh, absolutely not. Mikan way greater.
Yo,
but,
YT Hoops. Are you being really serious with us right now? Like if you were talking to just an impressionable fan and someone came up to you and was like, "Hey man, who do you think is Shaq? Where's he ranked?" Are you gonna say from now on Shaquille O'Neal is the #1 greatest basketball player of all time? I just want to know.
No, I'm kind of bullshitting. What I'm more getting at is just I think it's
Do you think?
nearly
So
impossible to
do you
rank
believe that he has an
players.
argument for the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think Shaq's awesome. Let me just respond to Scap really quick. So I think you made a great point about the free throws, and honestly, I have no response. Great point. But the other thing is like that was not asked of Shaq. So I think what you said is actually a strong case against LeBron because like he's a guard who like plays forward sometimes. So he's expected to make these shots. He takes these big shots and he consistently comes up short. Shaq, for his role, did everything he needed to do and a shit ton more. And also I factor in that I think big men are just far more valuable offensively and defensively than guards when I consider these rankings. So yeah, just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, so Shaq has been swept more times in NBA history than any player in NBA
What happened to the Lakers when they lost Shaq? And what did he do in Miami?
Well, now hang on. He played with Shaquille O'Neal, played with Penny Hardaway, who was first team All NBA 2 years in a row when Jordan was gallivanting off with his Chicago minor league affiliate. He then played with Kobe Bryant, who's a perennial first team All NBA guard. Then he went to Miami and played with another perennial first team guard in his prime, in the crux of his prime, in Dwayne Wade. So the only 4 championships that Shaquille O'Neal won was when he was playing with one of the best guards in the NBA at the time. Kobe Bryant was the best guard in the NBA when they were winning championships. And Dwayne Wade, you could say, was probably the best guard other than Kobe Bryant. So what did the Lakers do when Shaq left town? Well, yes, when they got Brian Grant and Lamar Cook, or Lamar Odom and Brian Grant, and there was a third player thrown in the mix. But when that's the comeback, when that's the return for Shaquille O'Neal, whereas Shaquille O'Neal is subbing Kobe Bryant for the next best perimeter player other than himself, okay, that's not an apples to apples. What happened when Kobe got a top 20 big man in the NBA, or a top 20 overall player, a top 5 or 6 big man in Pau Gasol? Oh, well, he went to 3 straight championships and won back-to-back. You can't compare what did Kobe do with Brian Grant and Lamar Odom versus what did Shaquille O'Neal do with Dwayne Wade. It's not an apples to apples.
Lamar Odom wasn't a bum, though. He should still be making the playoffs. I think they finished 6th in the West.
Real fast. Let's get Go Cats and Rich in here. Do either of you have anything you want to comment on this? And welcome, Rich.
How you doing, guys?
What's going on, y'all?
What do you have to comment on the Shaq? Is he part of the best steakhouse club?
Shaq as the GOAT? No. No.
Okay, Rich, do you have any comment on what's going on here?
We got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is here.
He said nope. You said Shaq as the GOAT?
Yes, is he part of the best steakhouse NBA players of all time?
Yeah. Oh man, he had an opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, and he really gave it up because of, whatever he gave it up for. Kobe was on his heels, you know what I mean? About Kobe damn near Kobe actually said that, yo, you were supposed to be the greatest player of all time. You know what I mean? And he let the whole laziness get to him, and he just lost the motivation. You know what I mean? Shaq definitely had it, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Shaq also stated that he was playing with the best player one of the best player of all time, and the best player of that time, which is Kobe Bryant. So, they both was pushing each other as being the best or possibly being the GOAT. But Kobe wasn't claiming to be the GOAT. He was just claiming, he's the best one-on-one player. But for my point, Shaq had it. He almost had it, but he didn't take it.
Shaq had LeBron's work ethic, unfortunately.
So wait, say that again?
Shaq had LeBron's work ethic, unfortunately.
Oh man. That's rough. Dang, that's rough.
Did Kobe ever call himself the GOAT?
No, never did.
Okay.
What's up, Robin?
No, I was going to say, can we educate the people out here? Listen, YT Hoops, man, sit back and relax for a second, man. Listen to what I had to say to you, all right? Listen, this is the facts here, guys. Everything you guys were saying, you guys were around the money. But let's educate the people out here, and let's be honest about why Shaq is not a top 10 player or he's nowhere in the GOAT conversation. Is he barely even a top 5 center of all time? Listen, man, Shaq is not the two-way center of a Bill Russell, of a Will Chamberlain, of a Hakeem Olajuwon. You can argue Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is he greater than Moses Malone? See, so these are the kinds of things that we're talking about. If you're not even top 3 or top 5 in your position, how the hell could you be a GOAT or a top 10 player all time? To me, when we talk about the LeBron James and the Shaquille O'Neal comparison, when they bring those guys up in the same sentence, they're talking about underachieving. AOH, you just talked about it, man. The mindset, the mentality of Shaquille O'Neal is LeBron James-esque in the sense where Shaquille O'Neal did not develop an overall game. He did not work on his free throws. Do you guys think of Shaquille O'Neal as an all-time great defensive guy? No, you don't, and you should. You should automatically think of Shaquille O'Neal as one of the great defensive players, but you don't think of Shaquille O'Neal that way. Do you think of Shaquille O'Neal as one of the great rebounders? Hell no, you don't. And why is that? Because he did not give the effort like a lot of those guys did back in the day. You had to actually earn those rebounds. So he's not on the level of Hakeem Olajuwon, of a Bill Russell, of a Will Chamberlain. You guys brought up George Mikan earlier. These are all the guys, Moses Malone. These guys, man, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Before you think of a Shaquille O'Neal, or you argue with Shaquille O'Neal. So to me, he's nowhere near a top 10 player all time. He underachieved.
Can I say something to that?
Absolutely.
You can try. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Well,
Yep,
try.
just-
I actually came
If
up.
Oslo's here, no.
I actually came up for. I actually came up to say something else other than Shaq, but I mean, he went in on Shaq. But to be
Those are the
honest,
facts.
listen, that's you saying that's your facts, but there's a lot of facts though. You know what I mean? That's your facts.
So you have
I
Shaquille
mean,
O'Neal as the greatest center of all time.
I never say he's the greatest center of all time, but
So
he's
I just
top
spit the
5.
facts then. I just said
He's-
facts then. Thank you.
He's top 5 though. I can't say he's
I
the
said he's
greatest center of
barely
all time.
top 5. I just said he's barely top 5 center.
Come on, man. Look, to be honest, let's be serious right here, man. I understand, like I said, I agree with you. He underachieved, but to say that Shaq is not even close to being in the greatest of all conversation, like, come on, he's damn near. He was damn near close. But also to say that he's not even top 5 greatest center of all time, he's top 5, man.
I said
Look,
arguably top 5. Arguably.
Caller.
Go ahead. I'm listening, bro.
I'll tell you what Scap did. Scap adopted LeBron fan mentality and lowered Shaq in order to raise Kobe, the way that LeBron fans lower
He always
Jordan
does it.
to raise
I love
LeBron.
the Scap at your MO, though. I got to say it.
I mean, look, right? If he lowers Shaq and push Kobe up, I watch his channel. He got some pretty decent knowledge and he does his good research as
he
well.
does. Yes,
You know
he
what I mean? Yeah, to be honest. But I wouldn't say he. I know you trolling right now, but Shaq and Kobe, like they was like the arguably one of the, or if not the best duo of all time, and and Kobe had a pretty crazy schedule. He has to feed Shaq and also feed himself. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy, and that's a lot of work. If we a lot of people don't look at that as well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he had to beat Shaq because Shaq didn't want to play defense and earn it on both sides. Shaq never even made a rebounding title at that size in that era. Never won a rebounding title that big. Never had a block title. None of these things, man. He was never that dude on defense. He wasn't consistent, Shaquille O'Neal. That was his problem. This is why
George
his
Mikan's
career
greater
didn't
than
last
both.
as long as it did.
Shaq was an awesome defender. He wasn't the absolute best, but I think he was second in rebounds like 3 or 4
Was he a
times.
greater defender than Bill Russell?
No, but you're talking about
Was he
probably the
greater than
best
Hakeem
defender ever. He was
Olajuwon or
way
David
better on
Robinson?
offense.
Or
All right, can I
Patrick
say
Ewing
this?
on defense?
Can I say this too though? I'm not. Look, what you're saying is not far fetched, right? But can I say this too, just to rebuttal you? Can we at least throw in the level of competition within that time frame?
I say that you can't because
The competition
this is
left in the 90s. That's the whole point
no,
here.
No, this is something I die on a hill with. You can't judge eras against each other because you'll never find out exactly how it would have happened. So
Right,
when you say that Shaq would have beat, I'm not saying you're saying this. When you say Shaq would have beat Bill Russell or George Mikan, there's no evidence to say that that would have happened. So it's just really a moot point, and you're just playing make believe. And George Mikan's greater than Kobe and Shaq. Almost.
No,
combined.
I'm not. No, I'm not saying. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about comparing errors. I'm talking about. Can we at least throw in the level of competition that Shaq was, going through at that time? At least
Name
just to
them.
give him
Name them.
the benefit of the doubt.
Name them. Name the
Defensive
competition
players.
right now.
There was
Because
a
I'll
lot of
name
great.
everybody right now. You name it.
Go listen. I can name some
No, you
crazy
can't,
defensive
because
players.
there is
Yes,
no
I can.
competition. They all were old. They all in
let's move on.
1994 when
Let's move
Shaquille
on.
O'Neal played against. Oh, excuse me,
All
95
right,
when he played against
we
Hakeem
can move on.
Olajuwon. What happened?
I don't know if we can move on.
All right. Can I just say what
Shaq is
I
arguably
actually
a
came
top
up to
5
say?
center. He's not a top 3 center. He's not,
All
guys.
right.
You have no argument. You haven't made one argument yet of him being a top 3 center. There's no argument. You say that I'm saying facts. I'm trying to educate you guys. You cannot say that Shaq is greater than Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, or Hakeem Olajuwon. Are you kidding me right now? Come on, guys. Let's educate the people.
It's a lot. The big man era runs deep. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
I got that joke. I don't know about a couple other people in this room. I got.
Wait, you can't say Shaq's better than Wilt or Hakeem? I think there's a strong case for Wilt and Hakeem.
I mean, come on, man. The man got 4 rings, man. Went
There's
on a different
no way,
team and
guys.
won
You guys
another
are,
ring.
listen, man. I love you guys to death, man, and I appreciate the support. But you guys, we're failing to educate. Okay, let's be real
And he
here.
dominated
Shaquille
too.
O'Neal has never been regarded as a top 3 center. No one thinks Shaquille O'Neal's in the GOAT conversation. What are you guys talking? You guys are coming out of left field with this.
Hey, Dart, real quick. A couple of things you missed in the chat. Someone, Scap, said to shave your mustache. I felt like that needed to be just to kind of switch gear here. So can you take care of that?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
People.
That's
Real
quick. Also, Dart, before I forget.
Van
sorry,
Dam
real
horse
quick.
dick.
Yeah, people aren't
Real
hitting
quick.
on Scap this stream like they did last time.
Right. Well, it's because he's, I don't know. He's woodsy.
He's very, very attractive man.
The Diddy stuff, it keeps being brought up in the chat. I will say, people keep a lookout on that because if LeBron's involvement is proven, you're going to see a lot of like maneuvering and political, just kind of like speech. So I think we had a show about in our shout out to Hoop Guys who's not here. We talked about this from a conspiracy.
What's your show again?
Precision Hoops.
Okay.
I did not name that. Dart named that.
I didn't name that. That was
Who named that?
That was Hoop God. I would not have.
Yeah, it's not precise. We don't show up on time for shit. There's nothing precise about it. But the Diddy stuff, keep an eye on that because as an entertainer, LeBron, he's more of an entertainer than an athlete. Or I'm sorry, he's more than an athlete. My bad, you guys. I forgot. And it's going to get ugly if he's attached to this. So just keep an eye on that. It's going to be less about basketball this year for him. I really do think that.
Shout out to Meg for calling out the Donaghy ring. No one counts that.
Speaking of education, Rex, do you have anything to add about Shaq? I know you're a prolific Shaq hater, as people like to say. I'm not saying
Now
you
I'm
are.
a Shaq hater too. So I'm a Jordan hater. I'm a Shaq hater. I'm a LeBron hater. All righty. Evidently, I love Mikan though. Someone in the chat said that I'm a George Mikan guy. Shaq, I feel, is severely overrated, but it's his own fault. I think at the age of 22, Shaq had the biggest potential of any player in history. He could have been the GOAT. He could have been. The only reason he wasn't was his own mental failings of every squirrel has their nut. You get to a point where you start to slow down, you start to not work as hard, you start to look at other things because you feel you've done enough. He gained the weight, he stopped working on his game, he did not dominate for an extended period of time. He played for 19 years. 19. And like Robin said, never a block title, never a rebound title. I think, 2 MVPs? Is that right? Or one MVP, 2 scoring titles?
One.
The other way around, whichever. But he just didn't do it. He could have. You look at the man in the film. Watch the film. He had the ability to become whatever he wanted to become on a court, and he chose to make videos, do movies, do commercials, make rap albums. That was his choice. All right.
Yeah.
But he didn't do
led
it.
the league in scoring.
I actually just wiped off my phone this morning a list of 10 centers I personally would take over Shaq. If
When
I
Shaq
was building a
retired,
team.
when Shaq retired, he had a show, Shaq Versus or something, and he engaged in a bunch of different sports and challenged people or tried to participate in them. And it was actually impressive because this is when he had his weight. And even when he was heavy, that was a lot of muscle. He was not exactly unagile when he weighed 350. So I'm saying that's evidence that he could have been more than he was, because that guy was athletic all around.
He was a huge, I mean, I was a big Shaq guy when he was at LSU. I was thinking, oh my God, would you look at this guy? This is going to be the most unbelievable next decade in history. This is going to be unbelievable. And it just didn't materialize for whatever reason. But when you look at his physical abilities, you look at the coaching that he had at his disposal, and you look at the upbringing that he had, same type of father as Jordan, you know, really keeping his head straight, keeping him going the right direction. He should have achieved more on the court.
And also,
if you
it's
look
crazy
at him,
to think that someone his size didn't have a lot of injuries either.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
Until he broke down later. So even injuries aren't really an excuse for Shaq during his prime.
If you're going to sit there and
So who
talk
are y'all
about
putting in front of
a GOAT
Shaq?
conversation,
Who introduced
you
this
can't include a
topic? Because
guy
we've
that
been
you
on it
admit
forever. I thought it was a
underachieved.
joke.
Yeah, we should definitely move through topics. But
All right, can I say something that I actually? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Richard, this is the last thing, and then we're about to shut the show down after this too. Soon after. But Rich, what do you got to say? And just preemptively, thank you YT Hoops, thank you Goatcast Hoops, and thank you Rich for calling in. But yeah, what's up?
Oh, and now someone in the chat just called me a racist. There you go.
Nah, I wouldn't say you're a racist, man. I'm black and I'm on here with you guys. Yeah, that's crazy. But I appreciate y'all for even bringing it up on the panel, man.
I had a question, but it can wait. It can wait.
All right. Well, actually, let GoCast say something, because Rich, you were
He's being nice. You had your turn, Rich.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Damn, my bad. All right.
You were almost as much as the steakhouse guy, but not nearly as much. Speaking of steakhouses, let me just show everybody what.
Scandals, scams, and positivity.
That's a steakhouse, but yeah, Rich, if you don't mind,
nice.
His talking point out, because he hasn't really asked a question.
Just real quick, because we did it on our show last week. I just want to hear you guys, and you probably have already answered this, but how do you guys measure greatness in the NBA? I'm sure y'all have gone over it before, but I just wanted to ask while I was on here.
You must have came late to the show, because that exact question was asked.
Oh, see, okay. So I was in here, but maybe I was doing something else.
Please see previous email, sir.
Yeah. As for my last email, no.
Can I squeeze a little topic in there before y'all leave?
Yes, because GoCast asked a repetitive question, and then this will be the last one.
Okay. My thing about this whole, Brian 101 and all this stuff, I know y'all probably tired of it or whatever. Y'all probably spoke on it. I'm not too sure, but I just want to say that Brian, with the whole Kobe and Jordan comparing, trying to skip over Kobe and go to Jordan and all that, all the media flipping and flopping and spinning narratives, and there's always Jordan and Kobe. I mean, there's always Jordan and Kobe, and then somehow Bron came in, and when Kobe won his 5 titles and Bron ain't had a title at that time, and was trying to squeeze in the narrative, and it was crazy. I remember everything like it was yesterday, what the media was doing, they was trying to do and stuff like that, and Nike was trying to push Bron, and it's a lot of NBA too. and then taking the defense away, and like Adam Silver talked about taking away the defense and letting people like Steph show their skills so the fans can see. It's a lot of crazy stuff that was going on. But basically, I want to say this. I think this whole GOAT debate and all that, like Jordan never claimed he the GOAT because he always give respect and admiration to the ones that came before him. Kobe never claimed he the GOAT. They both of those guys, they like A1, AB. They want to, they always claim to be the best one-on-one player and stuff like that. That's by far they could go with that whole GOAT debate. Uh, Bron always claimed he's somehow been claiming this since 2016, if I'm not mistaken, that he's the GOAT. But I think he should focus on leave those two guys alone. They on a different tier. Leave those two guys alone because you got Kareem up there as well. They got a crazy resume. A lot of people when they come to debate with this whole LeBron and GOAT thing and all that, they always throw me. I'm like, what do y'all see that I don't see? They always throw at me is stats. Listen, I watched the game of basketball when some of my guys, even the old heads, when they talking to me about basketball, usually they don't talk about stats to me. I don't talk. I learned that a long way. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk about stats when I'm talking to these guys. These guys know basketball, so I don't talk about stats. I don't disrespect them and bring up stats. Just same thing that's going on with other guys that come to me and talk about stats. I don't want to hear stats. I know the game of basketball. I seen who is who. Same thing with the NBA players. They know who is who. That's why a lot of these guys, a lot of LeBron peers and Kobe peers, they always lean towards Kobe most of the time. So Bron and that whole Kobe debate and Michael Jordan debate, I think that should just get wiped off, man.
Let me bring it back to pickup.
Go ahead.
Let me bring this back to pickup basketball. When you guys go out and you're thinking about who to pick up for your next team, or maybe you're just watching, and you're like, damn, okay, so that guy knows how to play. That guy knows who to send the ball to. That guy knows when to take it to the rim when it's needed to. That guy is who I would play with. You don't turn to somebody and say, hey, what has this guy's stats been for the last 20 years? That's not how you choose a winning team.
That's how I do it. Anyway, yep. Thank y'all. Thank you, chat, for all the guys calling in. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, yeah. We're not taking any more callers, but thank you. And Rich, thank you for calling us so you came back in. But do y'all have any last words? And I think it was productive in ways. I mean, it was a little different, but I think it was fun in its own way. But Robin, you have anything you want to say to the people?
Let me go last.
Okay, I'll put you down here. Let me put Steam Engine up because he needs all the attention.
I don't. I'm just trying to catch my breath. One thing I will think about, if in terms of media, if we never saw James play a game of basketball, which was like a lot of people back in the day, right? Because you actually had to seek that information out, and you were just looking at numbers in a vacuum. Like, who would be more impressive? Jordan or LeBron? If you took away the media component and just looked at numbers and championships, and you used championships as your factor of success, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty easy to pick Jordan, and that's before you even do the eye test. That's it.
Rex, and watch Precision Hoops. I don't what.
Oh, my bad. Yes. Or they'll cancel me. They'll cancel us if I don't say that. We only, so watch Precision Hoops.
What's the topic anyway? What are you going to do next week, or do you know?
I like this all time. I like the Shaq all time topic. I didn't know it was going to get that intense. But I think it's like when you see him live, when I watched Shaq and Kobe live, because I was a huge Laker hater back then, there was no stopping that duo. I mean, there was nothing you could do with them when they were in their I hate bag when they were playing well. I don't feel like there's an argument to that.
All right, tune in for that. Rex, do you got anything to say to the people?
Yesterday, I came to an epiphany, if you will. That I think I put Bob Cousy over John Stockton.
Yes.
Because of what he could do scoring-wise with the ball, as well as the assists. He only had one less assist title.
That's what you want to leave the people with?
That's it, because I don't like rating players. Every player that was mentioned today is an all-time great. They were all fantastic. It was fun watching all of them.
No goodbyes? Anyway, Nick, what do you got to say to the people?
I'll keep it short and sweet. Fun as always.
All right. Jay Scavatag, you got anything for the people?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to just kind of briefly touch on some quick things that were brought up. I don't want it to seem like I was devaluing Shaq. Like I said, he's a fringe top 10 player to me. I think him and Kobe were the two best players in the NBA for a good span of time in the early 2000s, which is why they won 3 consecutive championships. I just think that there were some obvious limitations to Shaquille O'Neal's game that, to me, limit his ability to be placed in the upper hierarchy of players. I think I would say arguably a top 5 center, but I think that, Russell, Wilt, and I think, me personally, I think Hakeem is easily above Shaq. I don't know about the rest of the panel. And then Duncan, if we're, I don't know where we're ranking Duncan as a 4 or a 5, but anyway, overall, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be on the show. It was fun. I like talking all kinds of basketball, not just LeBron. So thank you to all the callers and all of the commenters on the side and panel. As always, many thanks to all of you guys as well.
Absolutely. Hey, wait, what do you got to say?
With the way Diddy is dominating YouTube and the way footage is being blocked, I'm thinking about going live and just saying Diddy repeatedly and seeing if I'd blow up. But I got a question. Who has more money, LeBron James or Diddy? And I'm wondering who's going to be able to take out who first to save the other one.
Pretty sure LeBron's got more money, but I don't know.
I think Diddy. Oh, LeBron's a billionaire. I don't know.
I
if
would
Diddy
think
is.
LeBron.
Yeah, I don't think Diddy's there yet. Oh, he's certainly not there now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Rob will not. Yep. And check out AOH's Diddy content. Anyway, Robin, what you got to say? You said you wanted to wait last.
Good plug, Dart. Good plug.
Yeah, no, man. I just wanted to, do my normal, rant at the end of the live stream, man, and let everybody in the chat know the deal, man, and continue to do what we do, man. When we talk about the education, man, and we're talking about the Shaquille O'Neal stuff, that's all that was, guys. That's not my opinion on this. These are the facts, man. Shaq is not greater than those guys I mentioned. Like I said, he's arguably a top 5, top 3 center. Those are the facts, man. That's number one off the jump, man. But more importantly, man, I saw some people in the comment section crying once again about sports and fitness rants because I'm yelling too much and I'm talking too much. I'm spitting the facts here, man. I sit back and I wait for people to respond, man. All right? I let people get an opportunity to say something. I don't interrupt people when they're spitting their facts, man, when they're ranting and doing their thing. The callers said a lot today. So I don't know why people always singling me out. Okay? This is what I do. I'm here for the educational purposes and set the record straight. So must understand that. We got my man Scap here for the analytics. You got my man AOH here, the video footage czar, man. He knows the deal. You got my man NNB to play both sides and play right down the middle. Nick's always down the middle, right? You got my man Rex here for the historical perspective to keep us in line when we forget about certain things. You got my man Speed for the comic relief. And obviously you have Dart to make sure that we all act a certain way and we're all being appropriate here, right? So once again, thanks to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the panel, man. I had a great time, guys. Thank you very much, man. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one, man.
I think I'm probably one of the worst moderators of all time.
Is that Robin's heartbeat I just heard?
When is Speem going to actually provide the comic relief that you're referring to, though?
Hey,
Looks like there's two racists in here. There's 2 racists in here. One more racist picked out. You and Rex, go ahead.
Anyway, thank you all for joining the panel. It was a pleasure as always. Check out everyone's channels here. Check out Precision Hoops. Check out Learn the Game with me and Rex. And then check out all my my George Mikan and Bob Cousy love and some people deem over appreciation.
Riveting stuff.
Yep. Amazing stuff.
I know what called up. Where I was all the LeBron James fans, y'all been harassing me in my comment section all these days. You guys don't call in. We gave you a 2-hour show to call in, and not one of y'all, not Ned Nutter, none of y'all wanted to call, but you talked all that stuff in the comment section. And this is what we're talking about with you LeBron James fans, man. You guys are a bunch of cowards just like LeBron, man. You can't stand your own too.
Yep. And yep. Thank you, Chad. Again, thanks for the super chats throughout. If I missed any, I apologize. Because again, I'm one of the worst moderators of all time.
But a bunch of cowards. that's how you end. Just.
But thank you all. I'm going to leave you with this beef real fast because and then I'll tell you what the great things about Michael Jordan fans.
Scandals, scams, and positivity.
That'd be a goat steak.
But thank you again, and Michael Jordan fans are the best.